What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be talking about which JoJo villains are pitching and which are catching. Now, obviously, you need to know what pitching and catching means. Just think of it as which JoJos are pitching, which are giving it, and which JoJos are catching, which is receiving it. I don't feel like going into detail because I like keeping this video not age restricted yet. I already know the ads are going to get limited, but I don't care because this isn't a topic that needs to be talked about in the JoJo community. This is a topic that is one of the most important things in JoJo in general, so it needs to be talked about. It has to be. So let's get right into it then. So first is part 1 Dio, if he is pitching or catching. I would say part 1 Dio is pitching. He's not catching. He doesn't seem like a catcher, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't seem like he's gonna take it. Now, this may change for the other Dios obviously, but for part 1 Dio, I think he's definitely pitching. This is different than top and bottom because being a top and bottom is different than pitching and catching. Pitching is catching is the literal definition of taking it or giving it, while being a top or bottom is, you know, that's being the top or bottom, but you can also be a power bottom. You can be a submissive top. It's definitely different. Okay, I implore you to, you know, come on now. It's definitely different. But after part 1 Dio, and by the way, yeah, he's pitching. He's not catching. Part 1 Dio is pitching. I mean, he shows signs of pitching the entire time. Like, come on now. The only times I see him being a bit submissive is like maybe when he was younger, a bit when he was crying, but that's about it. Definitely say he's more of a pitcher. Now, after part 1 Dio is Cars from part 2's Battle Tendency. That man is a pitcher as well. I can't see that man catching. Maybe he would catch for AC/DC, but I doubt it. That man is definitely pitching the entire time. I mean, he claims to be the ultimate life form. He does ridiculous stuff like play Lisa's legs like a guitar. He goes wee 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 on her legs. He never shows any signs of submissiveness. You know, in fact, he's a nice guy sometimes. I mean, he's letting plants grow and saving puppies. I mean, sometimes he's a nice guy. So I gotta give it to the boy Cars for the way he acts sometimes. So after Cars is part 3 Dio. Now, part 3 Dio is a different case. Now, as I said before with Dio being a top or bottom, part 3 Dio is going to be a similar thing to that, where part 3 Dio can be a bottom. Like I said that before, part 3 Dio can be catching sometimes. Certain times I can see him catching. He's not going to catch for people he does not feel that care for, though. The only person that he probably would ever catch for is probably Pucci. Maybe Vanilla Ice, maybe, just maybe. But if he's over Heaven Dio, he's not catching for nobody. But if it's just part 3 Dio, like technically part 6, he'd probably catch for Pucci and go both ways, pitching and catching, just like being a top or bottom. But I'd say a good like 60% of the time, Dio's probably going to be pitching to Pucci. Well, 40% of the time, Pucci's probably going to be catching a good 40% of the time, because Dio is just a weird man. Part 3 Dio is technically part 6 Dio with that, and I would definitely say that man is taking it from Pucci. I can definitely see it happening at least 40% of the time. Because Pucci is definitely a bit more submissive most of the time to Dio. We'll get into Pucci later if Dio is spreading them cheeks, but you know, for now, Dio will get his cheeks spread and spread the cheeks as well. After Dio is Yoshikage Kira. Yoshikage Kira, is he pitching or catching? Now, Yoshikage Kira, pitcher or catcher? Now, as we saw before, Yoshikage Kira was also, you know, with that girl, you know, his quote-unquote wife, but not really his wife. But he was making some moves on her after he was a bit comfortable. Yoshikage Kira seems like the kind of guy who needs to get comfortable with the girl before he does anything wild. Unless, you know, of course, he's just gonna blow them up and take their hands and, you know, do all that weird stuff with that. But with that girl, his quote-unquote wife, you know, he was definitely making the moves on her later. He was kissing her and all that bull. He was like, goodbye, and then he would kiss her and then leave. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, what is this weird, like, just goofiness. Now, is he a pitcher or catcher? I can never see Yoshikage Kira catching. I mean, who's he gonna... First of all, he's not gay, okay? He doesn't strike me as the gay dude. All the other JoJo villains that I've went over so far, they're gay. Part 1 Dio, he's whatever. He's bisexual. And Cars from Part 2, look at him. I mean, do I even have to explain why I think he's bisexual? Part 3 Dio, I just said it, part 1, you know, he's bisexual, and that's weird stuff he's doing with Pucci. And by the way, Pucci's 15. Just letting y'all know that. He's 15. Okay, this is like the second time a JoJo villain has done some disgusting act to a 14 or 15-year-old, so that's 2 times now, JoJo. It's 2 times. 2 times, Rocky. 2. And now, with Yoshikage Kira, he does not strike me as the bisexual or gay man. He's only done this stuff to women, but sometimes I do feel a little glimpse of it just by the way he dresses or those goofy ass waves that he put on. Just by that, I mean, I swear sometimes I can think that Kira is gay, but at the same time I don't have enough proof. I don't have enough evidence to prove that that man is homosexual. So I would say he is pitching because obviously, I mean, that straight dude. Well, at the same time, he could you know, get pegged. So we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure if, you know, that the wife is doing that to him. But it seems like he kept himself most of the time until the end, where he was like, you know, doing all that stuff. He was like, hey, how's it going? You know, he was doing all that crazy stuff. So I'm gonna say the man is a pitcher. We'll go with that. You know, until further proof, you guys let me know in the comments if you think if he's a pitcher or catcher. I'm gonna say pitcher though. After Yoshikage Kira is Diavolo / Doppio, I guess, because technically 2 people, whatever. Diavolo, I mean, I think he's a pitcher. I barely have to explain why this man's a pitcher. I mean, look at him. He never shows any signs of catching like that, really. I mean, I'm not trying to ride Diavolo because, you know, I like Diavolo, but I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh man, he seems like a catcher. Like, nah. I mean, Diavolo is definitely a pitcher. Doppio, on the other hand, Doppio is a catcher. Diavolo's a pitcher. It's kind of a two-way street kind of. Doppio is over there taking orders, being super submissive, doing all that goofy shit, while Diavolo is definitely just never taking orders. He's doing what he wants. The man tried to unalive his daughter. I mean, that's just demonic. So, and he's the one with the daughter. It's his daughter. You know, technically it's both of them, but it's always referred to as Diavolo's daughter, not Doppio's. Even though Doppio met the girl and probably did all the rizzing, while Diavolo came in out of nowhere and was just like, let me hit, kind of thing. So, Diavolo, I'd say, is a pitcher, and Doppio is a catcher. After is Pucci. Now, as we went over before, Pucci, it's like a timeline kind of thing. Let me explain this to you guys. From 15-year-old, from when he first met Dio in the church. No, they weren't doing it in the church, by the way. No, that's off limits for Pucci. He doesn't do that in the church. Now, Pucci, you know, when he was in church, 15-year-old, from 15, but now when he turned a certain age, I think it was like 30, he stopped the pitching. He stopped pitching. But when he was 15, I think the man was definitely catching for Dio. Dio was definitely, he was on Dio's bed, he was at Dio's mansion, he was eating Dio's food. The man was on Dio's dead day. Dio was his sugar daddy, okay? That was what Dio was. He fixed his foot. He did all that stuff for Pucci. I mean, Dio was doing all of that, so I would assume because he's doing all of that for Pucci, you know, Dio's expecting, hey, some type of reward. You know, I'm right here, you know, Pucci. I want some type of reward, obviously. So I'd say younger Pucci was catching, while Dio, I'd say Dio was eventually starting to catch after Pucci turned a certain age. I know what you people are thinking. This man is talking about a teenager. What the fuck is wrong with him? No, Pucci's not a normal teenager, okay? I'm just gonna tell y'all that now. And I'm basically the police. I'm out here policing all these JoJo villains. That's like 2 times. 2 times these JoJo villains are doing some diabolical act. Okay, so after Pucci is Funny Valentine. Great, this man. Now, as I said before, Funny Valentine did do that diabolical act to the 14-year-old Lucy. So, I mean, he didn't mean it though. I mean, he's a good guy. He didn't really mean it. I mean, he's cool. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm not one of those Funny Valentine fans who just ride him and, you know, I mean, he is my favorite villain, but I'm not gonna act like that was a forgivable act. I mean, the dude, what he tried to do to Lucy is diabolical. I mean, that is deplorable. That is truly just disgusting, because at least with Pucci, it was consensual. With Lucy, it wasn't, okay? It wasn't. She was running away from him. You could see the fear in her eyes, okay? Funny Valentine just didn't care. Even though he didn't fully do it, that was what he wanted to do. So, that right there is the sign of a pitcher and not a catcher. Even though his wife is bisexual. His wife was getting harassed by that 14-year-old Lucy lady. He was getting harassed by Lucy. She was getting harassed by Lucy Steele. She was touching on her tatas and nipples and all that bull, trying to seduce a woman like that. And then Funny Valentine came out of nowhere, was like, I like the innocence in you. Diabolical, deplorable human being right there, bruh. But I'd say he's a pitcher, not a catcher. For sure. Now, after Funny Valentine is Toru. You guys let me know down in the comments what you think Toru is. I've seen a lot of people say Toru's a bottom and he takes it most of the time. And you guys let me know if he's a catcher or pitcher. And give me some reasons too. So far from what I've read about the comments from top or bottom, the dude definitely seems like he'd be more on the catcher side. But you guys let me know what you think he is down in the comments below. And I don't even know the Part 9 villain. I don't think they've revealed that yet. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Again, don't take this video too seriously. I'm joking about everything I say in this video. It's a grain of salt. Do not get your panties in a bunch. But that's going to be it for this video. Peace.
Yeah.